What's up, guys? Ricky here with another review on the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat Shao Kahn with Throne. I got this from Big Bad Toy Store. It was pretty expensive, but I thought for the Throne, I figured it'd be a very good purchase, and it's only going to go up in price. So let's look at it real quick here. So, look at that. Okay, so it's got the mask on, and it looks like that comes off pretty easy. Okay, pretty cool muscle definition and paint tones. Hard to see with the plastic wrap in here, but that's okay because it keeps it protected. Looks like you have extra heads in here. Yelling head, kind of like a smirking head. You have extra hands. You have his hammer, which looks really nice. You have spear there. And then if you look close in the back there, looks like you see the skull thrown there with some blood on it. Looking pretty sweet. So, and this box is huge, by the way. It's super massive. But let's look at the side and the back real quick. Okay, here's one of the sides. So you can see it wraps around. It's got the cool little face there. Then you have the back here. And there's a picture of the figure and the throne. And I can already tell they put the paint on a lot thicker on the figure than they did on this picture. But I'll look at that real quick when we open it up. Very cool looking. And you got some cool poses there. So the different heads on with the helmet. Looks nice. You have an action figure shot of him sitting in the throne. Looking very cool. Okay, here's the bio if you want to read it. Okay, perfect. And then the other side here should be an action figure shot. Yes. So it is the picture of him on the throne. Looking pretty good. Okay, so let's open this up and see what we are looking at. Okay, here is Shao Kahn out of the package, and this thing is freaking sick. Okay, here we go. So I got him next to some of the other ones that I recently purchased. So here we go. So look at that. So you got the mask. So they did some good detail there. So it looks like they did gray base coat, and then they did a white dry brushing over the top to show off the details. Looks like they did a grayish slash maybe metallic color, but then they took a shimmering silver and just barely brushed over the top to really show off that metal look. And then you have the back. They did some white paint, it looks like, and they did a little bit of also kind of light dry brushing on there too, which looks nice. Then you have brown paint. You have the nice gold around, so this looks good. You have silver highlighting, which looks nice. They did the same thing to the chest that they did to the helmet. Same thing with the belt. Nice red tone there. Nice textures. I really like the textures. These look really good. Good muscle definition. Wow, this thing is sick. So here we go. So then you have the hammer there. Actually did some similar techniques. So you have the, so they did a metallic color and then they did silver over the top, dry brushed it lightly. So it looks really good. Nice shin guards that kind of match the rest of the outfit. And cool painted toes. The toenails are not painted though, but not that that really matters. Okay, so the cool thing is this helmet does come off. So you can take it off. And that's the standard head there. So it looks like they did some good fading there with the skin tone there. It looks really nice. And then he's got the little top there with the black kind of painted there, which looks good. It looks like we could possibly either dry brush or add a little wash in those details to make them pop more if you want to. But honestly, I am not really going to mess with it. Then you have some red eyes. Looks good. Okay, so then this did come with the full throne itself, which I'll show off in a second. But let's start with the extra heads. So you have one with the teeth showing, and then one with the mouth open wide. I might try the one with the open wide mouth, but he kind of looks cool with just the regular face too. Okay, and then it did come with extra hands, and you have the same exact ones on both hands. So it looks like open, semi-open, more of a gripping hand, a pointing hand, and then you do have one to hold the weapons, which looks good. So As you can tell, the base, so good textures. It is hollow. However, it still feels like really good quality though. So you have blood tones. So I like the blood tones here. So it looks nice. You have a dark color in the middle, and then it gets a little bit lighter on the edges, and then definitely some cool splatters. If you look at the throne, they did a lot of neat colors. So it looks like they did a brown, and they dry brushed brown over the top there, which looks good. And they added a little bit of a lighter brown, or maybe just more thickness on the corners to look good. Then on the top with the stone, kind of the same thing. They had the brown undertone. They took a beige though, kind of to imitate the sand, so because it might be dirty. And then they added a little bit of blood on the top, which looks good. And then here you can see the dry brushing very prominently. So brown with like a reddish kind of clay color, dry brushed over the top. And then you have the skull. So black in the eyeballs and in the socket. So it looks like they probably did a, I'm guessing they did a black, and then they did a brownish, almost like a purplish tone base coat, which is really interesting looking. Looks good. And then they dry brushed like a lighter color over the top. So you have 3 different details there. So black, kind of lighter grayish color, grayish kind of purplish tone with that, which looks nice. Then the horns, they don't come attached, so you have to attach those. But those look like they did black, gray, and also brown dry brush. So really easy techniques here, but makes it look really good. And then blood kind of splattered. You have cracks in the skull. Looks really good. And then you have the chains. The chains all have the skulls on them as well, which look nice. But overall, yeah, this thing is sick, and it is massive too, so it's huge. But yeah, cool. So I'm super impressed with this so far. So let's get into the articulation. Okay, here we go. So articulation. So the head, I'll take the helmet off. The head looks up pretty far, so it looks up good. Looks down pretty far as well. You have nice side to side, good rotation. And this is like the normal Storm Collectibles has been. So this is actually a soft kind of rubbery material. So it makes it really nice to kind of bend, which is really good. So you have the little shoulder joints there. You have the shoulder articulation, so you can get it past 90 degrees. You have bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. So get it in really good posing positions. And then you do have wrist articulation as well, which is really nice. So the ab crunch, you can get it to crunch. Oh, there we go. Now we're talking. You can get it to crunch pretty far, which is nice. And then it doesn't show on the back, which is actually really cool. And then you have backward crunch, about that far. Could maybe force a little bit more. You got some side to side. You have a nice rotation there as well, which is really good. Legs go up almost 90 degrees. You have double jointed knees, so get them in really good kneeing poses. You have ankle articulation, so rotation and pivot. Then you have toe articulation as well, which is really nice. And then this should, yep, so the thighs also swivel at the hinge, which is nice. And you can get him almost in the splits, which is very, very cool. So honestly, I'm probably going to keep him sitting for the most part because I think the sitting is legit because you got to use the throne anyways, right? Okay, cool. So let's get into some quick size comparisons. Okay, so here's a quick size comparison. So you have Storm Collectibles Shao Kahn in the middle. You have the McFarlane Shao Kahn on the right. You have a Marvel Select Hulk figure to the left. You have the standard McFarlane Mortal Kombat figure Liu Kang there. And then to the far right, you have Kintaro, which is one of the other Storm Collectibles. So, and as you can see, that Shao Kahn stands a whole lot taller than the McFarlane version. And it's funny because the McFarlane version, Shao Kahn already stands quite a bit taller than the regular figure version. So I thought that scale was pretty good. But they made him quite a bit bigger for Storm Collectibles, which is very interesting. So I kind of like both. I think both can be cool to display, but the big one actually looks really, really cool. So here we go. So we have, it stands roughly 8 3/4 inches tall. And that gives you about 22 centimeters. So that's how tall it is there. And then how about I also give you the measurement of the throne, if you were curious. And it looks like the throne stands roughly about 1 foot tall, so about 12 inches tall with the horns, which is really nice. So let's get into final thoughts. Okay, final thoughts on the Storm Collectibles Shao Kahn. This thing is sick, so I am really pleased with it. So it is a little expensive, of course, because you're getting a throne and you're getting the figure. They do just sell the figure by itself, and the figure by itself is actually very, very cool. But the throne definitely puts it to another level, especially, I think it looks pretty good in this diorama I built too. But yeah, I'm actually really pleased with it. So if you do have the money to pay, I think it's like 150, 160, something like that for the combination. So like I said, that is really, really expensive, but it is on Big Bad Toy Store right now, and you can get that with $4 shipping, which is pretty good. But yeah, I think it's an outstanding figure. So I can't wait to kind of pose this up, kind of get a cool little Mortal Kombat setup going on with, obviously the boss, which I kind of have a cool setup here. But yeah, looking forward to getting it set up and seeing how everything goes and seeing how I pose it. But yeah, this thing is sick. So everything from the throne itself with all the cool details to Shao Kahn, all the articulation, the sculpt. This is an amazing figure. So really, really happy with it. So thank you all for tuning in today. Like, subscribe. I want to keep growing this channel. Let's see, I'll keep bringing customizations, reviews, etc. to you all. So thank you all so much for supporting the channel, and I will catch you all in the next video.